Many breaking news are coming in as we come on the air. Hi and very warm welcome at Amir Shackle 5858. I am Amir Shackle. Following news headlines have been reported by world major English news channels and news agencies. So please watch it.
Tonight, several breaking stories as we come on the air. The Dow dropping nearly 500 points today, with President Trump said late today about the U.S. economy. Also breaking tonight, Ukraine now agreeing to a U.S.-brokered ceasefire with Russia. Will Vladimir Putin agree to this? And in the U.S., the 5-year-old killed in a hyperbaric chamber. Tonight, the charges. First tonight, with Elon Musk by his side, President Trump downplaying concerns about the economy. The Dow now dropping more than 1,300 points in 2 days. Many Americans concerned, some small business owners now sounding the alarm tonight. And President Trump late today standing with Elon Musk, trying to help him sell Teslas from the White House. Also tonight, Ukraine agrees to that U.S. plan for an immediate 30-day ceasefire with Russia. The question, will Vladimir Putin agree to this? The president saying he plans to talk to Putin. And President Trump says he would invite President Zelensky back to the White House. Tonight, the major move after that deadly collision, the NTSB now pushing for a ban on those helicopter flights along the Potomac near Reagan National Airport. That ban tonight now in effect after that passenger jet collided with a Black Hawk. And now we learn tonight of more than 15,000 cases of what are called close proximity events in the skies right near that airport in just 3 years. Tonight, the horrific death of a 5-year-old boy in a hyperbaric chamber. 4 people now charged. How did this happen? Tonight, the new video here in the search for that missing college student who disappeared while on spring break. What the new hotel surveillance shows. The heat across this country. How long will these temperatures last? Records could be broken in several states. And tonight, the elevated fire danger now. Lee Goldberg standing by with the forecast. The temperatures from the south right up through New York City. Tonight, the cargo ship that slammed into a U.S. tanker. The massive explosion and fire. The captain of the other ship tonight charged at what authorities have now revealed. The alarming school bus crash in the Northeast on its side. Many injuries. One child trapped under the bus in critical condition. Tonight, Billy Joel postponing his new concert tour. It comes after that fall on stage. For how long will he be off the road? And what he's saying about his condition tonight. And America Strong tonight, the Jeopardy contestant you'll see compete tonight. When he revealed the missed call, was it fate? From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News.
Enough! You're making the other shows feel bad.
Wait, we didn't get a Greg out of that one.
No.
Give the man a break.
Give him a break.
All right.
Okay.
Watch your ass.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. So a teen with werewolf syndrome has set a world record with hair covering 95% of his face. This, of course, breaks the previous record set by this woman. The WNBA's Angel Reese claims players may strike if their demands aren't met. Or even worse, they'll keep playing. Michelle Obama is launching a podcast with her brother, disproving the theory that Michelle and her brother were the same person. But it is nice to see that she's teaming up with her brother. Just don't go overboard, Michelle. New study found that most people admit they'd be cool with their partner hooking up with a robot. Finally, I can make an honest woman out of my Roomba. Slow. And a related story, women who wouldn't hook up with a robot change their mind if it turns out it's this one. The Museum of Failure houses some of the world's greatest flops. Visitors can see attractions such as Crystal Pepsi, Carrot Cake Oreos, and of course, the Don Lemon exhibit. Amazon Studios, the new owner of the James Bond franchise, promises that the beloved super spy will remain male and British. Well, that rules out Prince Harry. Researchers say the more you spend time with dogs, the more likely you are to misread their emotions. For example, this one isn't angry. It's hungry. According to a new survey, attractive workers earn $20,000 more per year than unattractive ones. For example, here's some data on famous faces. And a London club has banned audience members with frozen faces that are due to Botox. So guess who canceled their girls' trip to England?
They look the same.
They do look the same.
Is that Michael Jackson?
Yes, it is. All right, so how do you know when you're doing the right thing? When you drive the nutty people even nuttier. Here's a federal worker losing her mind over Elon's 5 work achievements email.
When you wake up or when you're on your weekend and you get the fork in the road message, or you get the subsequent 5 bullets, hey, what the hell did you do, you lazy federal worker, this week? How frightening is it that someone on X, the owner of X, speaks to you directly to say, what did you do last week at work? And if you don't answer, I am going to fire you.
Okay.
A power struggle this Tuesday night. The new back and forth between Ontario's Premier
I want to sit down and negotiate this and stop the bleeding.
and America's President.
Our country had to do this.
What could happen next? Buying Canadian. It's complicated.
Patriotism is not just about putting a maple leaf on a product.
What customers are being urged to consider. Potential ceasefire, what Ukraine has agreed to just hours after bombarding Moscow. And anger amps up towards Tesla.
People were suggesting that it was a symbolism of Nazi.
The accelerating backlash against Elon Musk's car company.
Global National with Donna Friesen.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin with
Tonight, the roller coaster day on Wall Street as President Trump goes headlong into his trade war. Stocks diving again over new tariff threats. The president threatening 50% tariffs on steel and aluminum against Canada. As a top official there backs off a surcharge for electricity in the U.S. The major market losses despite the president's promise to create an economic boom like no other. The White House downplaying it as a moment in time. And with Elon Musk's Tesla stock down by more than half since December, President Trump's controversial show of support. Plus the new cuts coming to nearly half of the Department of Education. What we're learning after the most intense drone strike on Moscow, the U.S. announcing Ukraine is on a path to peace with Kyiv open to a 30-day ceasefire. Intelligence sharing and aid restored. How will Russia respond? The new surveillance in the search for a missing student in the Dominican Republic. The new bank fees coming from Southwest Airlines that change after half a century. You can find it at convenience stores and dispensaries across America, but what is Kratom and how safe is it? And moving Maryland, controversy over a 26-foot statue of a Hollywood icon turned into an awe-inspiring aerial move.
This is NBC Nightly News. From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News.
Good evening, I'm Maurice Dubois.
I'm John Dickerson.
We begin here tonight with the tit-for-tat tariffs.
President Trump started the day by retaliating for a 25% surcharge on Canadian electricity that lights up homes in Minnesota, Michigan, and New York. He hit back hard, smashing a 50% tariff over the border on Canadian aluminum and steel.
Premier Doug Ford of Ontario responded by rescinding the electricity surcharge, as well as his threat to cut off power entirely.
The president was up next, late today. He reduced the 50% metals tariff to 25%.
For investors, it was like watching a tennis match. At one point, the major stock indexes were off about 1.5% before recovering some of their losses by the close of trading.
Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes talked to one of the generals in the trade war, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Nancy?
John, good evening. Lutnick insisted today that President Trump's unpredictable tariff moves will actually benefit the economy by year's end. But consumer confidence is falling right along with the markets.
Our country had to do this.
His announcement this morning caught the financial world off guard. 50% tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum. But by this afternoon, around the world.
Good morning, I'm Oliver Farian. This is Daybreak. The United States and Ukraine agreed to a 30-day ceasefire to the Ukraine-Russia war after talks in Saudi Arabia. Washington says the ball is now in Moscow's court as to whether it wants to agree to the pause. Meanwhile, both Ukraine and Russia step up drone attacks. We'll be speaking to our correspondent in Kyiv, Gulliver Cragg, in this edition. Greenland's centre-right opposition party, the Democrats, win elections in the autonomous Danish territory with 29.9% of the vote. The party dislodges the centre-left ruling coalition in a poll that sees support for independence surge. Former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte is on the way to The Hague following his arrest Tuesday morning. The 79-year-old is accused of crimes against humanity related to extrajudicial killings of thousands during an anti-drug campaign waged during his time as president and also as mayor of the city of Davao. And a big win in the Champions League for Paris Saint-Germain, knocking out six-time winners Liverpool on penalties. Liam McGuinn will be taking us through the reaction from a jubilant French press.
This is Asia Now.
It's 2 p.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 11:30 in New Delhi, and 1 o'clock in Jakarta. I'm Paul Sirk. At this hour, a hostage crisis unfolding in southwestern Pakistan after separatist militants blew up a train in Balochistan province. A major rescue operation is underway with more than 150 captives freed. Former Philippine leader Rodrigo Duterte en route to The Hague over his war on drugs. The detained ex-president is being accused of crimes against humanity by the International Criminal Court. US and Ukraine officials look to get Russia on board after Kyiv agrees a 30-day ceasefire proposal. Washington also lifts an aid pause, and President Donald Trump says he's open to inviting Volodymyr Zelensky back to the White House.
Today, no exceptions. Donald Trump's steel and aluminium tariffs come into effect this hour. The US to present a 30-day ceasefire proposal to Russia after Ukraine agreed to the plan. Celebrations in East Arnhem Land as the High Court upholds a native title decision lawyers have called the most significant since Mabo. And residents count the cost of tropical cyclone Alfred as recovery efforts ramp up in Queensland and New South Wales. Hello, I'm Lorna Dunkley. This is ABC Sydney News coming to you from the land of the Darug people. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese.
Africa News. The news. A bus lost control and flipped on a highway early Tuesday near Johannesburg's International Airport, killing 16 as some were thrown from the vehicle. The Transport Ministry confirmed the crash occurred near Johannesburg or Tampa International Airport.
We have accounted 45 patients that are being hospitalized as we speak, that were transported by various ambulance services to various hospitals around the city of Ekurhuleni.
Ukraine agreed Tuesday to an immediate 30-day ceasefire negotiated by the United States if Russia accepts the plan, officials said. As part of the plan, the United States immediately lifted its pause on sharing intelligence with Ukraine and will resume security assistance to the country. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who led Washington's delegation to the talks in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, said the U.S. would present the ceasefire offer to the Kremlin, which has thus far opposed anything short of a permanent end to the conflict, without accepting any concessions. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said in a statement that the planned ceasefire would halt all hostilities and freeze the conflict along the entire front line.
The US stock plunged on Monday and Tuesday as investors grappled with mounting concerns over the health of US economy. 9 of the 11 primary Standard & Poor's 500 sectors ended in the red, with technology and consumer discretionary suffering the steepest decline, falling 4.34% and 3.90% respectively. Investor unease were fueled by the recent comments from the US President Donald Trump, who acknowledged the possibility of a rough economic path ahead.
Manchester United has announced plans to build the world's greatest football stadium, a 100,000-seater arena set to be the largest in the UK. Located next to the historic Old Trafford, this new venue promises an unforgettable experience for fans. Designed by renowned architect Norman Foster, the stadium will offer an atmosphere that brings fans closer to the action.
This has to be one of the most exciting projects in the world today. It starts with the most famous football club in the world, 1 billion followers globally. So it starts with the fans. And it starts with the idea of making something which is so intense, it brings you close to the pitch. Acoustically, it cultivates the roar.
In a press release, United said the project could bring billions of pounds to the UK economy and create as many as 92,000 jobs.
Ideal.
Get the Russian history.
To Vladimir Putin, yeah. I want to get, look, that's the other, it takes two to tango, as they say, right? So hopefully he'll also agree, and I really think that would be 75% of the way. The rest is getting it documented and, negotiating land positions, etc.
So you'll talk to him this week about the deal?
So,
and then when you anticipate meeting him in person?
In place on the Ukrainian side, how close do you think that you are to a total ceasefire?
Well, I hope it'll be over the next few days. I'd like to see. I know we have a big meeting with Russia tomorrow, and some great conversations hopefully will ensue. The people have done a great job. Marco Rubio's been great.
Meanwhile, the White House has confirmed that the 50% tariff planned for tomorrow on some Canadian metals has been cancelled. Instead, a previously planned 25% tariff will still be enacted. Donald Trump had told reporters outside the White House this afternoon that he was rethinking his decision to double tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminium after Ontario cancelled a 25% surcharge on electricity exports to 3 US states. Meanwhile, back in the UK, a 13-year-old girl has been charged with the murder over the death of a mother of 3 following a fire at a home in Wellingborough. That's according to Northamptonshire Police. The force said the girl, who cannot be named for legal reasons, has also been charged with arson and with the attempt to endanger life. Formal identification has yet to be confirmed, but the woman is believed to be 43-year-old Marta Bednarkits, who was found dead at the scene. And suspected Channel migrant Abu Wadi has pleaded not guilty to entering the UK illegally. 33-year-old Wadi, who allegedly arrived on a migrant boat, is charged with knowingly arriving in the UK without leave. He will next appear at Maidstone Crown Court on the 8th of April. Those are the latest GB News headlines. Now it's time for Headliners.
For the very latest GB News direct to your smartphone, sign up to News Alerts by scanning the QR code or go to gbnews.com/alerts. Good morning, it's 6 o'clock. Coming up on today's show, the ball in Russia's court. Vladimir Putin under pressure to end the war after Ukraine agrees to a US ceasefire plan.
Plus, the government here says it's disappointing that the US has imposed global tariffs on steel and aluminium, but they want a deal, not a fight.
It's Wednesday, the 12th of March. Your headlines. Donald Trump challenges Russia to agree to a ceasefire after Ukraine backs his plan to stop the fighting. Trump's trade war. America imposes global tariffs on steel and aluminium. The EU has already hit back, but the UK says we need to be pragmatic. Also ahead, Sky News reports on the Norfolk children's home that was run like a cult.
So I thought I was going to die because I couldn't breathe. It was quite scary. And you were just a teenager at the time. Sorry.
NASA's newest telescope blasts off from California. And Liverpool have been knocked out of the Champions League, losing in Paris on penalties. Losing to Paris, on penalties at Anfield. A very good morning to you. It seems that Donald...
Thank you very much for giving time to Amir Shekel 5858. I am Amir Shekel. Have a good life. Bye-bye.